I don't know what I expected when I reached out, maybe a nod from her, a small sign that it was okay. Just to hold him. Just once. My hand was shaking, not from weakness, but from wanting. Wanting to be included, to matter, to be something more than a wall in the background of their lives. But before I even brushed the edge of the baby's blanket, she slapped my hand away. Sharp. Fast. Her eyes never softened. Don't touch him. You're dirty. I stared at her, too stunned to speak. Her voice hadn't even cracked. She didn't whisper it. She meant it. Clay stood beside her, hands in his pockets, eyes glued to the floorboards like they'd start speaking if he stared long enough. Not a word. Not a glance in my direction. The baby squirmed in her arms, then stilled. For a moment, all I could hear was the low hum of the ceiling fan and the ache ringing in my ears. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask why. I stepped back slowly, letting my hand fall to my side like it no longer belonged to me. I sat down in the corner chair, the one they never used, the one they said clashed with their style. I didn't look at her. I didn't look at Clay. She shifted the baby to her shoulder and walked upstairs. Clay followed without a word. And I sat there, hands still open, wondering how long it had taken me to become a stranger in my own home. It started with kindness. That's what I told myself. When Clay and Sophia came back from their honeymoon, they were exhausted, anxious, unsure of what came next. Rent was high jobs, uncertain. I offered the master bedroom because it had the biggest closet and the best light. Just for a few months, they said. I packed up my things, moved into the smaller guest room, and told them to focus on building their future. I cooked every night, washed their clothes when the machine beeped, covered the internet, the water, the electricity. It felt good at first, purposeful, like I was still needed. I thought that meant I still mattered. Then things shifted. Slowly, then all at once. Sophia started organizing the fridge, labeling the shelves. I'd open it to find my yogurt tossed out and sticky notes on the milk. Do not open. Clay. One morning, I came downstairs and found the couch gone. The one Daniel and I bought the year Clay was born. Sophia told me it sagged weird and smelled like dust. A delivery truck had already brought a new one, sleek, modern, expensive. I never asked how they paid for it. The photos in the hallway used to be of our family Clay as a toddler with cake on his face. Daniel in his uniform, me holding Clay's science fair ribbon. One day, all of them were gone, replaced with wedding portraits, beach shots, maternity poses. There was a frame on the end table that used to hold Daniel's picture. Now it's a photo of Sophia with her mother, both laughing with matching hats at a vineyard. One night, I went to bake something and opened the pantry to find the flour missing. I asked Sophia, and she said, "Oh, please, text me next time. I keep track of everything now." So I started asking, "Can I use the oven? Should I move my things? Do you need the dining room this weekend?" I stopped hearing "thank you." And one morning I stopped hearing Mom. Sophia decided to host dinner. It wasn't a holiday, just a nice night to have people over, she said. She invited 2 of her friends from her yoga class, their husbands, and of course her mother. Clay helped her move the table out, add the leaves, bring up the extra chairs from the basement. I offered to cook, but she shook her head. "It's all taken care of." "You don't need to stress," she said, like I was some fragile antique. By the time dinner was served, every chair was full. I stood there with my plate, watching everyone settle in. Wine glasses clinked. Someone made a joke about labor pains. There were 2 high chairs for the twins, cushioned and clean. Even the dog had a spot beneath the table. I looked around for a spare seat, but there wasn't one. Not even a stool left by the wall. Sophia glanced up briefly. "You okay, Irelda?" she asked, not pausing her conversation. "I'm fine," I said, and I meant to be. I took my plate and walked to the kitchen counter. I ate standing up back to them facing the cabinets I once picked out with Daniel. I didn't speak. No one came to join me. No one called me back. When the baby cried, Sophia's mother rushed to him first. Someone spilled a bit of sauce on the floor and Sophia laughed. "We'll just mop it later. Mom, remember your kitchen after Thanksgiving." Everyone chuckled. I dried my hands and quietly wiped the tile. I waited for a moment when someone might look up, offer a chair shift slightly to the side. But the night went on without me. When dessert came out, they passed it around. No one asked if I wanted some. I rinsed my plate and put it in the dishwasher. My stomach wasn't full, but I didn't feel like eating anymore. The next morning, I went to water the plant on the dining room windowsill and saw a photo from last night already posted online. Caption: "Full house, full hearts." I wasn't in the frame. I found it in the mailbox wedged between catalogs and pizza coupons, an envelope from the bank addressed not to Clay, but to Sophia. I paused. That wasn't unusual, not anymore. She'd started handling most of their finances, but then I noticed something else. There wasn't a single envelope for me. No gas bill, no property tax notice, no quarterly water statement. I'd been waiting on a renewal form for my car insurance. It never came. For weeks, I'd told myself the mail was running slow. It wasn't. That night, while Sophia chopped kale for another one of her clean meals, I asked her directly, "Have you been changing the mailing address on anything?" She didn't even look up. "Oh, yeah. I forwarded most of the household accounts to our P.O. box. It's just easier this way. Less confusion, but they're in my name." She finally turned to me, wiping her hands on a towel. "Right. That's why I took care of it. I didn't want things getting missed, and Clay said it was fine." I turned to my son, who was standing at the sink, rinsing out the blender. "Clay," he shrugged. "She's just trying to keep it organized." "Mom, it's not a big deal." "Not a big deal. Not when your name disappears from the envelopes, not when your bills no longer pass through your hands, not when your address is still on the deed, but your signature isn't on the paperwork anymore." I didn't say anything else. I went back to my room and opened the drawer where I kept the old file folders. Most were untouched since Daniel died. I flipped through tabs labeled Mortgage, House Insurance, Legal, but found nothing recent. The most current document in there was dated 5 years ago. A week later, I received a voicemail from the county office asking to confirm a requested change of ownership on the property title. They said, "We just need Imelda Monroe to approve." I didn't call back. Not yet. I had stayed up 3 nights finishing it. My fingers ached by the end, and the yarn left soft indents in my skin. I chose the same stitch my mother used for Clay's baby blanket, tight and warm, with a border of tiny shell ridges. A quiet gift. A grandmother's offering. I laid it gently over the couch cushion that morning, folded just right with a ribbon tucked beneath it. I didn't say anything. I thought maybe they'd just find it, see it, feel it. That night I went to turn off the lamp in the living room and I saw it. The blanket was on the floor. One corner twisted under the leg of the rocking chair. A footprint pressed into the center. Someone had stepped on it maybe more than once. The ribbon was gone. I bent down slowly. My knees cracked. I picked it up in silence and held it to my chest, unsure what hurt more, what I saw or what I had hoped to see. No one mentioned it the next day. No thank you. No sorry. No did you make this. Just more chatter about sleep schedules and bottle measurements. Then, sometime in the afternoon, Sophia posted a picture on her social media. The baby was swaddled in a soft blue wrap store-bought sterile nothing like what I made. Her mother sat beside her beaming. The caption read, "So grateful for my amazing mom. Don't know what I'd do without her." Dozens of likes. Hearts, comments full of admiration. I wasn't in the photo. I wasn't in the comments. I wasn't tagged. The blanket I made sat folded in the laundry basket that evening. I didn't take it back to my room. I didn't wash it. I just left it there. By the next morning, it was gone. And when I opened the pantry to make pancakes, I noticed the last jar of jam I had canned gone too. Replaced with a newer brand, Sophia's brand. Clay looked at me briefly over his coffee, but said nothing. And that was when I remembered the drawer Daniel told me never to throw away. The drawer was in the old sideboard, second one down, tucked beneath faded dish towels and a stack of mismatched holiday cards. I hadn't opened it in years, not since Daniel passed. He told me once, if things ever get complicated, check this drawer first. I thought he meant recipes or insurance info. I didn't think he meant this. I pulled it open with both hands. It stuck, at first swollen with time. Then it gave way. Inside was a manila folder marked in Daniel's handwriting. House. Final. My fingers hesitated over the tab. I opened it. The first page was the original deed to the house. Both our names. I traced the ink with my thumb. The second page was a notarized power of attorney transferring full control to me after his death. And the third was something I didn't know existed, an amendment to the trust dated a year before he died. In the event of breach of familial trust, the undersigned retains the right to revoke shared occupancy and transfer control of the residence at her discretion. He'd written it himself. Quietly. Clearly. Signed, witnessed, and filed. He saw what I didn't. Or maybe he just believed in planning for what I was too soft to imagine. I sat there on the floor, papers in my lap, heart beating loud enough to hear in my ears. Upstairs, I could hear Sophia's voice through the baby monitor. She was laughing about something. Clay chimed in. Their life was unfolding above me, room by room, decision by decision. I looked back down at the documents and felt something shift inside me. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt solid. Not bitter, not angry, just certain. I placed the folder in a fresh envelope and wrote one word across the front, Marion. She was Daniel's old estate attorney. She'd know what to do. And by the next morning, so would Sophia. The first call was to Marion. I hadn't spoken to her in years, not since Daniel's memorial. She remembered me right away. Her voice was steady, professional, but kind. I've been expecting this, she said softly after I explained. The second call was to the county office. I confirmed my identity, verified the title, and requested a freeze on any pending ownership transfers. Temporary hold's been placed, the clerk said. You'll need to file your paperwork to make it permanent. I will, I said, and I meant it. 2 days later, the letter arrived. Certified. Signature required. I heard Sophia's heels click across the wood floors when she opened the door. Heard the envelope tear. Heard her voice call for Clay. She stood in the dining room holding the letter like it was radioactive. Her lips moved, rereading one line over and over again. Clay sat at the table, rubbing his temples. Finally, she turned toward me, eyes wide and tight. You're really doing this? She asked, holding up the papers like they accused her of something. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, You already did. She opened her mouth to speak, then shut it again. Clay shifted in his seat. Mom, what is all this? I'm enforcing a clause your father added. The house was always mine, Clay. I just didn't think I'd have to remind anyone. He didn't argue. Sophia did. This is cruel. You're overreacting. We live here. We have a child. Yes, I said. And I'm still standing in the kitchen of my own house, asking permission to use the stove. She went quiet. The letter lay on the table between us, its edges trembling under the breeze from the ceiling fan. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. I'd already made the call. Now it was her turn to respond. She left the room, muttering under her breath. Clay sat there a while longer, staring at nothing. The next morning, a white envelope slid under my door. No return name. Inside, a notice from the sheriff's office. The knock came just after noon. Calm, firm, unmistakable. I opened the door to find a sheriff's deputy standing on the porch. He wasn't rude. He wasn't kind. He was just doing his job. He asked for Sophia by name and handed me a sealed envelope. She came to the door half a minute later, arms crossed makeup, still fresh from her morning errands. "What's this?" she asked, eyeing the uniform. The deputy didn't answer. He turned and walked back to his car. Sophia opened the envelope slowly. Her mouth moved as she read. Then she let out a soft, shocked laugh that didn't sound real. Clay stood behind her, reading over her shoulder. "Mail fraud," she murmured, voice cracking. "Financial manipulation. Property tampering." She turned to me like I was the one who'd written the charges. "You're trying to ruin us." I didn't reply. I never meant she started, but the words died. That night she packed a suitcase. She moved with the sharp, efficient panic of someone who thought they'd always have time. She stuffed clothes into a duffel bag, slammed drawers, barked at Clay to help her find her charger. When she came down the stairs, the baby was in her arms. He had one sock on and a sleepy pink cheek pressed against her shoulder. She rocked him gently back and forth, then stopped. Her arms froze. Then slowly she turned and held him out to Clay. "I can't deal with this," she said, not even looking at the baby. "He's yours now." Clay didn't answer. He just took the child. Sophia stood there for another second, waiting for what I don't know. For someone to stop her. For the walls to take her side. No one did. She turned, opened the door, and walked out. Alone. Clay didn't move for a long time. He just held the baby against his chest, the way a man does when he realizes something is over. Something loud, fast, and wrong. I walked past them both into the kitchen. I turned on the kettle and reached for 2 cups. The silence felt different now. It wasn't heavy or cold, just quiet. Restful. The kind of stillness that follows after something finally snaps and stops pretending it wasn't broken. The baby stirred in his crib. Clay was already in the kitchen, moving slow as if each step was still being weighed. He brewed the coffee. 2 cups this time. He set one across from me at the table. No words, just the faint clink of ceramic against wood. We sat like that for a while, sipping in the quiet. The baby let out a short gurgled sound, half cry, half yawn. Clay stood, warmed a bottle, tested it against his wrist, then handed it to me. I fed him, carefully. Steady hands, despite everything. Clay folded a pile of clean baby clothes beside me. Some were still slightly warm from the dryer. One of the socks was missing its pair. He didn't say anything about it. Neither did I. He took the bottle when I was done, gently placed it in the drying rack. I noticed he didn't leave it for me to wash. Later, we watched the baby sleep. His fingers twitched in dreams. His mouth opened in soft little sighs. I don't know if he knew she was gone, but he cried less. And when he did, it wasn't sharp. It was soft searching, as if he expected someone would answer now. Clay leaned back in the chair, arms crossed. "He has your eyes," I said. Clay didn't look at me, but he smiled. Just a little. Just enough. The hallway was quiet. The photos were still there. Sophia, her mother, their perfect smiles. I didn't move to take them down. Not yet. But I would. When Clay stood, he walked over to the hallway closet and pulled out a quilt, Daniel's old one. He laid it over the crib without saying a word. I stood too. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was intruding. I walked into the nursery, opened the window for the morning air, and ran my hand along the crib rail. The light was starting to come in. The nursery looks different now. It isn't just the clutter that's gone, or the way sunlight slips in through the sheer curtains. It's the way the air feels soft open, like it belongs to the house again, like it belongs to us. Clay spent the afternoon repairing the dresser Daniel built in the late 80s. I watched him sand the edges, smooth, tighten the drawer handles. It had been sitting in the garage for years, forgotten behind paint cans and garden tools. But today, It sits proudly beside the crib, solid, clean, and deeply familiar. The baby gurgled in his sleep, his fingers curled around the edge of the quilt Clay laid down yesterday. No one raised their voice. No one made demands. The television was off. The kitchen radio hummed a soft jazz station while the coffee brewed. I didn't ask Clay where she went or if he'd spoken to her. He didn't offer. Some things don't need words. Some fractures can only be left alone to heal on their own time. The hallway is still lined with their photos, but today I took one down. Just one. I replaced it with a framed picture of Clay at 5 years old, standing next to Daniel in the backyard, holding a fishing rod twice his size. It felt right. The house has a new rhythm now. Different, but not unfamiliar. I brew 2 cups of coffee in the morning without hesitation. I open the windows early. I hum while folding laundry. The investigation is still moving. Papers will be filed. Court dates will be set. There are things ahead that won't be easy, but I'm not hiding anymore. This is my house, my name, my rhythm. And when the baby wakes up hungry, I don't ask permission. I just reach for the bottle.